Hey, I'm Javin, and this is the Toyota Tacoma SR5. The SR5 is one of the most popular trims because it really has everything you need without sacrificing anything. The one we're looking at today is a 2025 model finished in underground. Real quick, as you walk around the outside, you can see it keeps a classic Tacoma look that a lot of people like. It's practical, it's clean, and it just works for everyday use. This specific Tacoma is for sale here at Alberni Toyota in Port Alberni, BC. Now, let's move to the interior. As I pan across the cabin, you can get a look at the overall layout from the driver's seat. From here, I'll go through the key interior areas, including the steering wheel controls, the infotainment screen, the AC controls, and the center console. Starting at the driver's door, the Tacoma SR5 comes equipped with keyless entry. Keyless entry means you don't have to take your keys out of your pocket or your bag, and you can just touch the handle and the vehicle will unlock. From here, we can continue working across the cabin through each section. So, kicking this off at the door panel, you see we have quite a few switches here. You have your windows, which will be all automatic. Then, next you have this little button here. They'll be able to press this and it'll lock the other windows and prevent them from opening. Next, you have your unlock and lock button. Next, you have your left and your right mirror adjustments, so you can select it with that switch there and use the joystick to move the mirror to your preferred position. Another thing I thought I'd note in this video is this little compartment on the side here, so you can just open it up. It's just held in by clips and you have a little storage area to put your things. You can also put some accessories here if you'd like. You can see on the back here, there's a QR code. And then on the front, you'll see that it's actually written in Morse code. There's Morse code written here, which actually says accessory ready. So it's just a cool little Easter egg that you can see. Another thing to note before we move on is this lever on the side of the steering wheel that you can use to unlock the steering wheel and move it to your desired position. As soon as you're done, you just lift the lever back up and then the steering wheel locks right where you want it. Moving on to these buttons here, you'll see we have this little headlight switch here, which you can use to level and automatically adjust the level of your headlights if you're towing something. Next, you have your little button here for your display brightness of that display right in front of the steering wheel. Next, you have your automatic high beams, which will automatically turn off and on your high beams coming into low light or when it sees taillights or headlights. Next, you have your traction control button, which is right next to that, which basically turns your traction control off. Then this button down here is for the lights in the bed, so you can turn it off or on, or choose to have it turn on when you open a door. You can see everything is put together really well in these Tacomas. Let's move on to the next section. Before we do that, we'll just go over these quick seat controls. So you have your button for your lumbar adjustment, this handle here to raise or lower the seat, and then your lever to recline as well. Moving on to the steering wheel, you can see that there's a bunch of buttons here that we can go over. I'm going to split it up into left and right. So let's get started. So the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see you have a back button here, which will be used for that display right in front of you. You can answer calls or hang up calls there. Then you have these four arrows that you can use to control that display in front of you. And then this OK, which you can press as well, or the display wants you to hold it. Then you have your two volume buttons to decrease or increase the volume. And then you have your voice commands. Moving to the right side of the steering wheel, this is where you have your cruise control settings. So that's where you set your cruise control. That's your lane center if you want it to keep you in the middle of your lane while you're in cruise control. Then you have your mode, which will switch between the two cruise control modes, so adaptive cruise control, and there's just regular cruise control, which will show up on the display right in front of you here. Then you also have the distance, which you can use to set the distance of the vehicle in front of you. Then you also have mode, which will switch the audio mode to Bluetooth or radio. Then you can skip, cancel, and then you have your cruise control increase and decrease. So going over the stop start button, as that seems to be missed quite a lot. So if you press it once, that will turn on the accessory, which will put power to the ports. Then you have, if you press it again, you have power on, which will turn on all the electronics of the vehicle, like the power windows, your AC controls, that kind of thing. And then finally, if you press the brake and then you start it, then that will start the engine and everything in the truck. Then you have your overhead controls. So you have your light switch here. You can turn it off. You can turn it to the right to turn the lights on, or you can keep it in the middle if you just like them to turn on when you open a door. Next, you have your SOS button here, which you can use to call roadside assistance or Toyota's emergency call center. Next, you basically have these lights switches here, which I thought you could press, but apparently you can't. Next, you have your sunglass holder, which you can use, of course, to store your sunglasses. At first, this is the infotainment screen. It'll display this when you have not set it up with the app yet. We can go over that separately in another video, but for now, I'll just go over quickly what's in each section of this infotainment screen. So this first one, it'll show you Drive Connect, which is essentially Toyota's cloud GPS system. And it says cloud navigation, destination assistant, and intelligent assistant. That is a paid subscription. In Canada, it's $20 Canadian per month. Or you can choose to use your wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. Into the next one, you have your audio. So you can enable your audio, and then you have a couple different radio stations that you can choose from. You have certain set favorites here. You can also tune to a certain station, so you can just type in the certain station you want, like 93.3, which is the local station here. And you can hit favorites, and it'll always be at your favorites. Next, FM radio, same thing. It'll automatically scan for channels and it'll display them here. AM radio, it'll do the same thing. It'll scan and it'll pop up radio stations there. And then Sirius XM, if you choose, you want to pay for it, or the vehicle comes with a short trial of it, I believe. So that's all that's in the audio section. If you just want to turn off the full audio, you just press that button and it'll shut off. This is where you would make calls, or you can see your contacts, but a current phone needs to be connected and it's not, or it'll just show the CarPlay symbol, which means all calls will be put through CarPlay. Then in the vehicle icon, you just have trip information, so you can clear data, you can look at all your history, and if you just want that little bit more extra information. In here you have guests, so you can just register your profile with the Toyota app, which is important. Personal info, if you just want to reset your personal info on here. Manage devices, so basically you can add devices. The rest of these menus are self-explanatory, hence I've chose to leave them out of the video. If you do have any questions though, feel free to drop a comment down below and I can answer them right away. Moving down to the climate controls, so you'll see this left knob here will control the temperature. You can have it go low or high. The next dial will basically control the fan speed. This climate control system is super simple. You then have your heated seats, your 3-level on each side. You have your front defroster, your rear defroster and mirrors, your mode, which will pop up on the display there. The mode button will basically just toggle through. You have your recirculation button, and of course your AC to turn your AC on. Then you can also press the button on the right dial to turn off the fan altogether. Then just behind here you have a rubberized pad, just a little spot to put your phone. That's what the little tab's there for, to kind of keep your phone in place. Behind that you have your car plug and your 2 USB-C ports. And then also noting beside that you have a nice little storage space if you want to throw your phone in or something else that you have there next to that grab handle. So moving on to the center console here, you have your park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Next to that you have your S with your plus and your minus, which you can use to manually switch gears. Next to that you have your parking brake switch, which this will be automatic, so as soon as you put it into park, it will automatically turn it on. As soon as you put it into drive, it'll automatically turn it off. But you can adjust that manually by using that switch and having your foot on the brake. Below that, you have your brake hold button, which essentially, if you turn that on, it'll show up on the display. And what that will do is it'll hold your brake at a stoplight or if you're on a steep hill, and then you can just press gas to go again. Next, you have this fighter jet-like switch here, which you can use to put it into 4 high or 4 low, which you'll have to be neutral for. Then you have these 2 little modes here on top of the dial. So you have your tow haul mode. It'll show up on the display right in front of you that you're in that mode. Then you have your power mode, which you can also turn on there as well. Alright, so that will conclude my video of the Tacoma SR5. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, like. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.